Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Marketing. My name is Amanda Delaney. I am a marketing mentor, and today my beautiful guest is Catherine Keeffe. And Catherine is an expert in the menopause, which we were just talking about is a topic which is exploding at the moment. I know it's been on the women's minds and in their bodies for many centuries, but right now it is hot topic. And there's been a lot of publicity about it. So, Catherine, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in business? Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so I guess in terms of business with Wellness Warrior, it was in my mind for a few years, Amanda, before I hit the go button. But I guess it's probably heading towards 4 years now. But before that, I was in the corporate world for a long time, for over 20 years, and I left in 2014. And then I started thinking about what I was going to do, and I knew I wanted to concentrate on health and women's health in particular. And then I started going through perimenopause myself. So it just became a natural area that I was interested in and, kind of wanted to do more in. So it was really off the back of that. Then I was kind of, doing a lot of work, researching and learning as much as I could around menopause. And I quickly discovered that, so many women needed help to understand really what it was about and the lack of education that was out there at the time. So I started going around the country doing talks, and it all kind of grew from there. And that was the start of Wellness Warrior. So yeah, it's kind of grown and it's gone off in little offshoots, which has been really exciting along the way. Because, initially when I started, I probably thought it was going to be kind of one-on-one work with women and, develop that and kind of see where that went. But then at the same time, once I started doing the public talks, it skyrocketed, and there was so much interest that's probably now what I spend most of my time concentrating on is either public talks or talks in workplaces. That's kind of would be my main areas. Now I still do one-to-ones as well, but the balance has very much tilted towards doing the workplace talks and so forth. Even with COVID now, it's all virtual, obviously. So
so that's the one-to-many. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
So many more people, and I've heard you speak. I've heard a small snippet of one of Catherine's talks, and it was an eye-opener, and I loved your style of speaking, which keeps it very layman's, very relatable, bit of humor. You have to have a bit of humor.
You need the humor.
Yeah, and and it just stood out to me, that storytelling. So, I'm going to ask you, and I haven't told Catherine I'm going to ask her this, but it's just coming back up how vivid the storytelling was. If you wouldn't mind, Catherine, because I'm a big believer in that when we get better at telling stories, we can get our message across much clearer to our audience, and there's a whole lesson there. There was a story that you told that I actually repeated at a kitchen table with my family recently, because it was so vivid and memorable. And that was the story about the couple in the car. So would you mind sharing that story with our audience today? And there's a couple of things I want them to look at. From a marketing perspective, it's the power of the story and the visualization. And Catherine, we were just chatting there, so busy, giving talks in corporates and giving, lots of these talks. And there's a key to that, and that is Catherine works really hard at her skill at crafting this message. Storytelling is powerful. Catherine, take it away. Share your story.
Storytelling is powerful, big time. And I think that's one thing, Amanda, for me, because I've met so many amazing women who've shared all these stories with me over the years, that, there's so many stories. But that story in particular was about Sue, who was age 46, and she'd been kind of just feeling a bit off kilter, just not firing on all cylinders, just not herself for a couple of months. And she had been talking to her partner, Frank, about it on numerous occasions. And, as understanding as he was, really, he just really couldn't get it. The penny, wasn't dropping. But one day they were in the car and they were heading into town to do a supermarket shop, when all of a sudden, out of the blue, the car windows steamed up. And Frank was just totally perplexed. And he looked around at Sue and he was like, "Was that you?" And it was in that minute, in that second, that there was his first realization of perimenopause, because he saw the physical manifestation, which was the hot flush. And all of a sudden he understood, geez, there is a lot more going on here than what I've actually realized. Because I always say that menopause is very much like the iceberg analogy. What you see in front of your eyes is very different to what's actually going on beneath the surface. So for Sue, in that instance, the hot flush was just a physical reaction. But what she'd been talking to him for months about was the change in her confidence, the fact that she wasn't feeling as herself as she had been before. And he found difficult to relate to, but it changed the whole dynamic as soon as he could realize by seeing the physical manifestation,
Powerful. And what I always say is, how many stories do you hear on a daily basis from your clients, from people around you? And most business owners don't pay that much attention to these stories. And this is where marketing comes into play. It's being able to tell those stories. The other thing I hear a lot is, confidentiality and stuff like that. We can make up fictional names. You don't have to give away, and nor should you, to become a great storyteller. You can change slight facts, not to give away the person that you're speaking about. But I do believe, and I'm sure I'm not alone, we'll get comments in there, if anybody can relate to that story. It shows what Catherine does without you having to do the whole facts, and this is, so facts will tell us, stories will sell us. We get to tell them stories.
It's so true, because I hear stories every single day. I mean, my most recent one was yesterday. I was working with this client with brain fog, memory issues, and she was basically just telling me about how she put carrots in the tumbler dryer. Honestly, there's always a story. And I think you're spot on, Amanda, in terms of I changed it. I changed the name. I changed the location. I might change some bit of it, but the message, the core message, is still the same. And that story, the car story, was actually, I was doing a talk in Galway about 2 years ago, and I was getting my hair done by a local hairdresser who I'd gotten to know over Instagram beforehand. I think it was Galway or Cork. She told me that story. And, so it kind of, you hear from, different people along the way. And so there's great power in a story, I think, particularly when it comes to marketing, particularly.
Big time. It's changed. A lot has changed in the last number of years, especially with social media. People are always saying, well, I don't know what to post. Start opening your ears. And I use the Google, the notes on my phone. Some people use audio. As soon as you don't think I'll remember this, take a little note of it somewhere, because they're gold. They're gold. And it means you get a creative hour, you can go and bank some content. You can write these stories. You can say them on video and copywriting. You can use them over and over to get your message out there. That's a question for you. What's your main platform that you use for your social media?
Probably Instagram. LinkedIn, I do a lot on LinkedIn as well. I guess I kind of think that LinkedIn is like my workplace and the corporate work. And I do a lot now. I do more on LinkedIn than I would have done probably a year and a half ago. But Instagram then would be the big one. And because Instagram feeds into Facebook, you kind of get the two at the one time. But Twitter, I haven't touched. I just haven't. And I kind of feel at this stage, I've enough. I've dibbled in Clubhouse, but again, it's finding the time. But for me, I find I'm very clear in terms of LinkedIn is my workplace and, you know, getting out to the bigger audiences and so forth, whereas Instagram is very much more it's just general. But a lot of people will know me from Instagram and then will follow me on LinkedIn, so it kind of they definitely piggyback off each other.
I love that because many people think they have to be all over the place, and that dilutes your time and your energy.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
big time.
good at them and get your message clear. Like if your message is unclear, it doesn't matter what platform you're showing up on.
Yeah,
it's unclear. So get the message right and then pick your platforms and be consistent.
And just on that, Amanda, just one thing that I've learned over the last couple of months, because I was spending a huge amount of time on Instagram only, and I just left Facebook for a good while. And then I thought, okay, look, I need to just go back, because I had so many people messaging me on Facebook and I always reply to the messages. But I thought, okay, I need to go back and spend a bit more time here. So what I actually did, and I found it's been great just to even help me get back into the Facebook mode, is I've done a lot of 30-minute lives where I go in and I talk about a subject, or tomorrow night I'm doing a Q&A for 30 minutes, something like that. But I've learned with Facebook that simply reposting a post from somewhere else means nothing. I sometimes will do that where it's something that's really beneficial, but I find it's definitely really beneficial to have something that you can add a personal story to. So I find those posts are the ones I've gotten the best response on.
The live interaction on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's a great tip. What's been your biggest challenge in marketing your business in the last 4 years?
Oh God. Geez, I think it's probably been trying to hone in, where do I spend my time? I think it's been the last probably 6 to 9 months I've gotten very clear on that, as in the LinkedIn route versus the Instagram, Facebook route. I think you have to be very clear, you know, why are you on LinkedIn? What's your audience that you're achieving there? For me, it makes total sense. I get a lot of work through LinkedIn. So it works because I'm talking in workplaces. The Instagram and the Facebook work for me in just as a general, and plus I'm getting out to more women, I'm able to spread the word and so forth. So I think being really clear on the platform you're using and why you're using it. If LinkedIn isn't going to get you work, then don't use it. You know, I think just be very, very clear. I think also for me, I revamped my website about a year ago, and the guys I worked with, they also had a marketing angle to themselves, as well as just being there. I actually would say they're nearly more marketing, and they definitely turned me around in terms of thinking how I approach the whole picture and the different I think offerings that I provide, and how you're targeting each platform differently.
Yeah, so it's really coming back to that speak to one, speak to many. You need to understand and know the client, and then be on purpose. What is the purpose here? Because people keep doing stuff and posting stuff. They've no real plan or purpose. It's just, I need to be on social media. You need to dig a little deeper on that, because it's your time. Your time is more precious than anything else.
I did a lot of that in the beginning. I did a huge amount of just putting info on it with no kind of thought. Whereas now, I know when I post something on LinkedIn, I'm posting it because it's related to the audience there, or, you know, it's either me I've started to do videos now on LinkedIn, which are brilliant. Yeah, just to kind of, again, just kind of videos are just really easy, really quick to do, and saves typing. So I've been doing Instagram lives and videos for nearly 2 years or more. So that to me is very handy, because I can just straight on put on the camera, say what I want to say, and off again. There's no typing. There's, you know, you can just do it. But I think it's being clear on the platform and what you're using it for. If I hopped onto Instagram and I started talking about why you need to talk about menopause at work and giving you all the stats and stuff, people, okay, some people might be interested, but not many.
Okay, so you know your different audiences on each platform, and you know why they're there. Guys, write that down. If you want to know more about that or whatever, ask questions. By us doing this show and speaking to different business owners, the whole purpose of this is that we can save you those pitfalls. Picking up tips from other business owners around our marketing, and especially I think the biggest lessons we learn is from those mistakes that we make in the beginning, or indeed at any time. Marketing is testing. So, speaking to business owners about how they've tested what's worked is where the real gold is and can save you those pitfalls. So what has been your biggest success when it comes to marketing your business?
God, I've had so many, Amanda. I've been really blessed. And I would say that's one thing I always do. I'm very grateful on a daily basis. I'm grateful for the small things. I'm grateful for all the positive, media attention, all of that. Gratitude to me is so important. I think possibly being asked to be part of the Sainsbury's UK Women in Tech Day, where I did a talk there, was certainly one of my highlights. I think, being part of, community events like, Savour Kilkenny and things like that have been great. I've done a lot of online events, which have had particularly, as I've learned, I've done very targeted marketing towards over the last 6 months in particular. They've been hugely successful. Any of the online webinars that I've done. And just yesterday, I launched ticket sales for my virtual summit, which happens on the 25th of September. So that's super exciting.
Wow.
It's really exciting. It's I'm bringing expert speakers from around the world and broadcast from studios here in Dublin. And it's going to be live to anywhere in the world, whoever wants to buy a ticket. So that's probably one of my highlights that I'm working on at the moment. But there's been so many.
You'll have to give us the ticket for that, or the ticket link for that, Catherine.
Yeah.
That was my last question, was what does the future look like for you? Wow, that's huge.
There's several balls. I've the event, the 25th of September, I just mentioned, and towards the end of this month, I'm launching an online course, which will be going live, which will be an 8 weeks working with me in a group setting. So really excited about that. And I'm writing a book when I get time.
Definitely looking a lot of balls. So who would be the 8-week course? Let's give a plug here. Who is the ideal client for your 8-week program?
I would say anyone who has gone through the fertility years. So because you could be early menopause. So if you're kind of, early 40s and you're moving, you're finished maybe with a family or moving on from that, then this is the course for you, because it either educates you as to what menopause is, it gives you all the tips and tools. It is going to be so practical, and we will cover everything: HRT, holistic therapies, everything in 8 weeks. So by the end of the 8 weeks, the idea is that you will have all the tools in your own personal toolkit that you can navigate the journey in an empowered way, so that it's a much more much more positive experience than looking at it full of dread. That's the main thing.
Oh, I love it. We have to get the ticket link off you there, and we get that out to our audience as well. It sounds amazing. Catherine O'Keeffe, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me, Amanda.
Oh, you're welcome. Donald is here. He's saying, 2 people. Let me see what's he saying here. We pop it up. 2 people each with much to offer together, not to be missed.
Oh, sweetie. We have to throw you a kiss there, Donald.
Fantastic. So thanks again for joining me. This will be on the YouTube, the Facebook. It will be soon be a podcast. We will have these on subscribed into podcast as well, so which would be great. But do check out Catherine, your page, and I'll send me. I think I have your links, haven't I? Links are above. So do check out Catherine, especially if you are that ideal client, that woman who has finished having her babies, and preferably before you're hitting right into the throes of the menopause. You know, I know a couple of people in the thick of it at the moment. And just to finish off this funny story, we were sitting at the table and my brother-in-law came in after listening to the Joe Duffy show. And he had us in stitches laughing, but he deliberately didn't turn it off, because as a man, he was now starting to understand his wife. What I'm saying is, as the woman, let's empower yourself with the knowledge and the tools beforehand, and that way you can go in making better choices.
Big time.
Without, you know, dipping, coming in. And that's better for everyone. Not
big
just
time.
for everyone around.
For everyone in the family.
Take care. Thanks, guys. Thanks
okay. Thank you. Bye.